Hi, my name is Paul Friedman. I founded the Marriage Foundation, and I'm feeling a little somber because this topic is really heavy: how to deal with a violent wife. I wish I could say I've never heard this question before, but the truth of the matter is that there are wives, women, who resort to violence, and it is usually because their emotions have taken over their life. Women are very different biologically than men. And so what happens is the psychology based on the physiology, psychophysiological effect, can be very dramatic. You see, men don't live in their emotions. Men live in our intellect, and the only quote-unquote emotion, I don't know if you can really call it an emotion, that we typically suffer from is anger. Again, because of our biology. And you could get one of my books if you want to understand this more, but basically, the biology pings the mind. And because of our biology, being male or female, our drive to survive manifests in different ways. So that's the source of it. And women, because they typically come from the heart, and emotions are like mimicking in terms of feeling, it mimics the heart, and so women trust it. And they're encouraged to trust it by society and Western psychology. And so it becomes worse and worse. And this anger that they have, this emotional outrage, you might say, they don't stop themselves. And when they loosen their arrows against you, it's violent. I mean, I could tell you more stories than you can tell me, including men who have been seriously injured by their wives. And so you have to be extremely careful, and there is something you can do. And that's what we're going to talk about. But I wanted you to understand where it's coming from. Now, of course, I'm not going to talk about women who are mentally unstable. And you might say, well, geez, of course she's mentally unstable or she wouldn't be violent. And that's not necessarily true. Mental instability in this case means that they have a defect in the brain. And that can be taken care of medically, and should be. Unfortunately, most doctors start prescribing things just based on the symptom. And as I said before, the symptom for most women, and I mean really most women, is not psychophysiological, based on a defect in the brain. It's psychophysiological, based on not dealing with it, them not dealing with it. Okay, so what can you do realistically? And let's put aside all labels of misogyny and male chauvinism. Forget that crap, okay? Because this is too important for us to take anything into consideration that would adversely impair you when it comes to dealing with a violent wife. So I don't care if I'm going to get hell for this. If it really gets going, or if you walk into the house and the violence is there, you can and you should, I don't know if legally or not, but you can and you should restrain her. But you cannot get mad in return. And this is really important. You have to be, and you can't just be like a professional either. You're still her husband. So what you really need to do is you need to remind yourself, this is my wife, this is my soulmate, I promised for better or worse, and in this case, what's happening is, let's call it an illness. It's not an illness, but let's call it an illness, is taking over her. And you have to first make sure she can't do physical damage. And then all the time, you have to keep reminding yourself, I love her, and man, she's in trouble. I love her, and man, she's in trouble. And while you're restraining her, and I'm giving you the worst case scenario with restraint, you do your best to remind her, I'm your husband, I love you. You are really important to me. You don't refer to her violence, zero, but you keep reminding her how important she is to you. Honey, you're beautiful. You're the best thing that's ever happened to me. I love you, and I'm with you, and I am here for you, and I will always be here for you. Remember, psychophysiologically, women need, it's at the subconscious level, they need you to protect them. This is why women marry men. Men marry women in order to feel love, because they're connected to their heart. Women marry men in order to be protected so they can have children. This is subconscious, so they can't relay this to you, but that's what's going on. Now, you just keep going with that. You keep repeating it. You keep stirring the love in your heart for her. When your triggers get hit, because in all of us, our mind has inner triggers that force the walls up, force a response in kind, etc. You control those. You don't let those manifest, not at all. Whether it is to run away or whether it is to fight back, you recognize that that's your drive to survive, and you're not going to allow it to control your marriage, to control you, and to influence how you behave with your wife when she loses it. And as she calms down while you're holding her, now we shift into the violence where you don't need to restrain her, and you stay with her, and you keep reminding her that your place is with her, her place is with you. You just keep giving the love, support, and give her enough confidence. And chances are she'll say, you're lying, blah, 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 and she'll continue. Keep going, keep at it. Eventually you'll break through. More likely, eventually her circuits will start popping and she'll start crying or go into a form of depression and stop being violent. So the last thing to do is react. Do not allow your mind to get caught up in her mind stuff. Now, I believe, this is my belief, that there are demons. I believe that there are demons. And I'm not suggesting that you have her exorcised or anything like that. But these demons come in when we're weak, and if we allow them in through entertaining them or acknowledging that this is me instead of this force, it gets worse and worse. So when you engage with her with love, that's what the demons cannot handle. They cannot handle love. But they can be scolded, revealed. And you talk to them silently. Hey, I know what you're doing. Get away from my wife. Get away from my wife. Be her protector. They don't like to give up. But it's your job to never give up. And you will prevail. I hope this is helpful. I know it's kind of a different perspective, a different point of view, but I'm just being candid. I'm letting you know what I know you can do, where it comes from, and how to behave. It's not an easy deal. So subscribe to the channel so you could learn much more about love, about marriage. Get one of my books, take the Course for Men. Literally, the Course for Men is going to help you through this, because you have to grow, you have to evolve, you have to become more spiritually mature to handle this. It's a big test for you. Yeah, it's a big test for her, but it's also a big test for you. Again, I'm Paul Friedman. I'm the founder of the Marriage Foundation. Leave a like, leave a comment. God bless you, and take care.